This is my introduction music. La 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 la. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to Prop Live. This really cool, fun show I do every week on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. And this week is no different than the others. We have another wonderful guest, returning guests, who are here to take your prop and costume making questions along with me. We've got the whole family. We've got my friends from Cosplay4UsAll, Courtney, Wendy, and Jay. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey!
Hey!
Hello!
So you guys are like my favorite cosplaying family in the world. You guys are,
Yay!
and we all got to hang out at DragonCon just a few shy weeks ago.
Yes. Not nearly enough, but yes.
Yeah, and Jay now is the pro cosplayer. He's got so many freaking awesome costumes now. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
I think I have two.
Yeah,
I've got
you brought two different costumes to DragonCon.
It was the Ninth Doctor, and the big one was Gandalf.
Yeah, and what a Gandalf too.
Thank you.
I'm surprised to see that you shaved the beard off. You should have kept that around.
Yeah,
He saved it back here.
Yeah, and then we also had behind Courtney there some Halo armor.
Yep, our very first foam build.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, do we wish we had had your foam smithing books before we started.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you guys were... So obviously next year, Wendy's going to have to cook up a costume.
Yes, the peer pressure is immense.
Do you guys have any ideas cooking up yet? Or?
No,
Yes.
they want me to be Gimli from Lord of the Rings, but that's all too much facial hair and wigs for me. I have actually started playing Destiny, which is the first game other than Legos that I have played on a game system. Usually I would game on the PC. It's also the first-person shooter that I've played in probably 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So now that I am no longer running into walls and staring at the sky as I shoot, I am actually starting to enjoy it a little bit. And Jay and I have been playing together, and Courtney's got it for the PS4, so I think we may actually do a family cosplay from Destiny next year.
Oh, super cool.
Maybe. We'll see.
On a technical note, I'm just realizing why you sound so quiet to me, and I hope I'm not feeding back to everyone. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Crap. I have my wires crossed over here.
Oh no.
USB mic. Let me try that.
Okay.
This is really good radio, everyone.
Live television.
All right, we are better. Everything's better now.
All right, let's see if this works now.
Yeah, you guys are fine. That was all on my end. I apologize.
Okay, so we're good now?
Yeah, you're good. All right, everyone. I don't know. Someone, I bet Buddha came down here and changed all my audio settings. All right.
Booty cat porn, that's what it was. All those frisky commercials.
Funny enough, that is not the first time today someone has referenced pornography in my cat. I don't know what's going on.
Well, kitty porn, you know, that's frisky commercials and grumpy cat pictures.
Yeah, yeah. And Maru videos. All right, so yeah, DragonCon. I don't know about you guys, but and I seem like I say this every year, but this one seemed really like special and awesome. I don't know. What did you guys have some favorite costumes that you saw there?
Oh goodness, there were so many.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you don't see them all because you go back and see the videos online. People start putting up, and you're like, I never saw that. I never saw that. You know. It's just
well, I've said this before, but my favorite had to be the Finding Nemo seagulls. Those were.
Oh yes, they were very cute. Yeah. They were very cute. I'm not sure that I had any one particular, like, oh my God, that was gorgeous. But there were just some very clever ones there, like the seagulls.
Oh yeah.
Some of them that you had to look at and go, What's that? Oh my God, I get it now. Those are my favorite kind of costumes.
Yeah, those impress me the most because I'm not clever enough to figure something out like that.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what it is, it's probably anime.
Yeah, or League of Legends. Like, wow, that's a really big, cool, elaborate costume. Oh, League of Legends.
Guys running around in boxer shorts, gotta be anime. They have glowing nipples, must be League of Legends.
Yep. Cool.
It was crazy huge this year.
Oh yeah, it really was. I always try so hard too to, like, I tell people, you can't see everything. You're not going to be able to see everything, so don't try. But I did kind of try. I didn't go to a lot of panels. I was on 2 panels, so I went and saw those, and I saw another one. That's it. Like I never. Do you guys go for the celebrity stuff? You go try and meet Will Wheaton?
We walked through the Walk of Fame area, and we wound up actually hanging out there for a little while, only because it was one of the best air-conditioned spots in the entire Marriott.
Oh yeah, and you know what? The Hilton doesn't get. Oh, was the Walk of Fame in the Marriott now?
Yes.
Yeah,
It was the very bottom floor of the Marriott.
And as you go down every floor, there's less of a crowd as you get away from the atrium.
Yep.
So, yeah, I spent some time in the Hilton because that's where all the podcasting stuff is, and I have a bunch of friends over there. And the Hilton doesn't get as packed, as crazy packed as the atrium, especially. So it's kind of nice to go take a breather over there and just hang out.
We're thinking next year we're probably going to spend a lot more time at the Hyatt, where we've got our room, and the Hilton. And I think we're almost definitely going to avoid the Marriott on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll start this trend. We'll hang out in the Hyatt.
The Hyatt has a very nice bar.
Oh yeah, and then that'll be the cool place to be.
That's right. Yeah. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about people 34 floors up throwing bottles and other things down at you.
That's a bonus, I guess. All right, I see some people throwing questions in here in the Q&A app there. We've got a bunch coming in. We have some from earlier today I'm going to answer. But before we dive into that, I'm going to let everyone know all about my super cool new thing that I've got. And if I had thought ahead, I would have brought it up first, but I'll do it now. Screen share. I've got a new ebook out. It's a book that I do on the internet, and it's called Foam Smithing Volume 2. If you go to punishedprops.com, you can grab it. It's all about. So I put out my armor making one. That one's only $3 right now. So if you haven't got that one yet, you can go grab it. So you can get both of these for $8, and it's worth it so much because if you learn just 1 or 2 things from it, it's totally worth it. At least that's
packed with information.
Oh yeah. So this new one's all about painting and finishing your armor, and I did 4 different methods for finishing for sealing, and they're all in there, so you can sort of figure out which one you want to do or try it out on different types of armor. And seriously, guys, it's $5. Go get it.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Well spent.
And you just added something to that book?
Just added what? Oh yeah, it's got pumpkin spice. Yeah,
yes.
just like the lattes. So
But it's a seasonal thing.
Yeah, it's seasonal. You want to get it now. But it is. Although it is always free range, organic, and gluten free. That I always like that. So all of my digital products, all my blueprints and guides are all gluten free. You can purchase them without hesitation. Anyway, seriously though, like I put that out on Monday, and the response has been fantastic. It's really, really awesome.
I've been chomping at the bit for part 2.
I know people have been like sending me pictures of their unfinished foam armor, and they're like, "I need to paint this." How do I paint it? Like, all right, I'll do it.
You're like George R. Martin of the prop making world.
I know. Like bad news about some of the characters in the third one, though. I don't make it.
Blasty Dip is discontinued.
No! All right, you jokers. Let's field some questions. How's that sound?
Let's get serious.
Let's go.
Yes.
All right.
Speak around.
Enough joking around on our super serious prop costume
Not that silliness.
show. All right, this first question is from Joseph. what do you do with all of your initial prop builds? The stuff that you would use to make a mold. So recently you guys did the pistol, the Halo pistol.
Our Halo pistol.
I forgot which one that's called.
Plasma pistol.
Plasma pistol. There you go.
Pew, 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 pew. Wait.
Yep.
Pew, 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 pew.
So what did you use?
We molded it with Mold Max 30.
Yep.
And then cast it with Smooth Cast 300.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about these is they're the box molds, so they're nice and compact, and you can stack them. We have a closet downstairs near our garage where we can keep our molds and casting materials and stuff. We actually bought this house for one reason, because it had that nice big closet.
Nice.
Now that
But
question,
the helmet molds are massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Now that question, are they asking about, like, after we get done making so many, what do we do with that, or are they asking about?
I think with the
initial-
master. Yeah.
The master. Okay.
Right.
Master,
So like
we
for
always
this,
keep.
Yeah.
we still have the masters for all
Yeah.
these.
Yep.
So
Our Zero helmet, we cast the first time in a bit of a rush, of course, like anything else, trying to get ready for Dragon Con, and it was our first time doing any kind of casting and mold making. Our first time, we went in and went a big, let's go big or go home. We did a glove mold.
Yeah.
And it didn't come out that great, the mold itself. We got a perfect cast out of it, but thankfully we kept the master, and we actually remolded it, and it came out much, much better the second time around.
Yeah.
We've been able to use that to sell raw casts of. But
So,
we all keep the masters.
Yeah, basically molds will eventually die, and if you keep the master, then you can make a new mold off of that. Now, it's not the end of the world if you didn't. A lot of times people will paint their masters. I know that my Eagle, my N7 Eagle, I painted the master of that, and I haven't had to make a new mold of that, but if I wanted to, making the mold would most certainly ruin the paint job on it.
yeah.
But anyway, I have a box that I call my box of chocolate, because it's all of my masters, and there's that ruddy red spray paint, and they look like chocolate. But that's where I keep all of my masters, so, in case I have to remold them.
Yep. We still have them. Yep.
In a closet.
Yep. All right. Let's grab another one. Here we go. This one's from Kevin. If you had the resources, when you first started making costumes, do you think you would have made better costumes? Like if you had better tools, better workspace, better materials? In other words, do you think the lack of resources hindered your cosplay abilities when you got started?
Well, I don't think so, because it's, you don't have to be a certain level.
You don't have to have fancy tools.
I have seen people make some incredible looking stuff out of just cardboard.
Yeah.
So, is it nice to have the nicer, incredible looking stuff? Well, sure, but that's not always what it's about.
Our pyramid heads were the first ones that we really made as a family together. We still have the heads here. They wore them, that was 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago that we made them. Very first ones we ever made.
They're cardboard.
They're cardboard, and my son's going to wear them going to wear his at AwesomeCon in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, is it as good as what I would make now? No, but it's more about the knowledge that I've gained since then than it is about the tools.
Usually when people ask me about a particular tool or method or whatever, I'll tell them that it's getting really good at using any one of those materials or techniques is more important than having the right tool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if you get really good at Pepakura, then use that, because you put the time in.
Yep.
All right. Jay wants to know, Jay Cosplay says, do you have any props or costumes that emitted smoke? And if you do, how would you recommend doing that? You guys ever do any smoke stuff?
Nope.
I hadn't, but I saw that question earlier, and just an idea popped in my head. Years ago, I had a little toy gun that would use fog machine fluid, and it would blow smoke rings. So if it was me looking to do something like that, I'd maybe get one of those and tear it apart and see how it works. And of course, depending on what you're looking to put it in, do some test materials and make sure that it's make sure that it's safe to use with whatever materials you're using.
Looks like a bong.
This does look like a bong. This is something called a wizard stick, which is also one of my favorite drinking games. Go ahead and look that up. It's a fog machine. It's a battery-operated fog machine. You have to get a fluid that goes in it.
Yep.
But it's a fog generator, and you can incorporate this into the handle of a gun or something, or like you were saying, Jay, take it apart and put it into something. Do some reverse engineering. But that's the thing I've used in the past, and I have done that before.
And it's reasonably priced too.
Yep.
Yeah, $20. I think you can find them cheaper too. Shop around. Go on the internet. Look up wizard stick.
Make sure your safe search is turned on.
Let's find out. No, it's the first. It's the first thing.
Okay.
What if I look up images? The images are all of the drinking game called Wizard Stick.
I have a wizard stick right here.
It doesn't emit smoke though.
All right. Well, I've scrolled down 2 or 3 pages of the image search, and I haven't hit anything pornographic. So
should be okay.
Wizard stick. All right, let's grab another super serious question. All right, this one's from Kevin. What materials do you recommend for cosplay? What about for display, just hanging out? So let's say something that you would just be hanging up versus something that you're actually going to go out and wear, or a prop that would use. Like, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I know a lot. Well, a lot of the stuff that I build, I'll cast out of something. But if it's really big, like I've got my Mass Effect assault rifle that a kit that I finished from Harrison Cricks. I get nervous shipping that or flying with it because it's really big and it could break. Recently, I built a big Borderlands gun out of EVA foam. Now that thing, you can hurl it down a flight of stairs, it's not going to break. So for display purposes, that rifle of mine, that Mass Effect rifle, that lives on the wall now. And unless I'm like going to drive somewhere with it, like I'm going to Rose City Comic Con, I might bring that because I can carry it in my lap the whole ride there. And frighten people on the highway, I guess.
Hold it close.
Yeah, but for something that's going to get shipped or thrown around a lot, I'll make it out of EVA foam. Does that sound reasonable to you guys?
That sounds reasonable. Yep. We don't really have anything that we make just for display. Well, like when we were making the plasma pistol, we were making it out of MDF and craft foam and Sintra and all kinds of stuff like that. And if we were planning to just keep that as a one-off, we might have just left it at that. But with MDF, I don't know, I'm just so nervous it just shatters and
as
ships
thin as we got it
so easily. If that was just going to be a display piece, I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
But knowing how things get, tossed around and banged around at conventions and stuff, we decided to go with the resin cast instead.
Yeah. And something solid and smaller and mostly solid, like those cast out of Smooth Cast 300. That's really durable.
We have a scrap piece. I cast half of the gun and when we were practicing and had some bubbles in it, so we used that for like testing to drill holes and paint and stuff on it. And he actually dropped it on the concrete floor in the garage the other day, and it didn't break.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, good to know it's durable.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a quick durability test for you.
Yep.
Throw it on the garage floor.
I did the same thing with Mayroon's razor with the dagger. I had a dud casting. I just hurled it on the ground, and I was like, "That didn't break." Right?
Now
Good
you
to know.
All right, this question's from Mikhail. What's the best way to get resin to cure in a cold environment? And if you're inside, best way to vent out those fumes? Now, depending on your resin, I don't worry too much about polyurethane resin. I work in a fairly open space. If it's a polyester resin, then you definitely want to worry about those fumes. What I've done in the past is for polyester resin, I have a room in my shop that's my painting room that's got a fan that blows air out the window through a filter, so it's good to go. If I'm doing polyester resin in there, I'll bring my space heater in and point it just at like a box where the mold is sitting, so in that box is nice and warm. for polyurethane stuff, what I've done in the winter when it gets cold in here is I'll put up a curtain and curtain off half of the shop and get two space heaters going in there, and I got it up to like 83 degrees there in the winter, which was awesome, by the way. I'd come down when I woke up, I'd turn the space heaters on, I'd go have breakfast and go work out. By the time I got down after my shower, it was 83 degrees in my shop in the winter, and then it was no problem casting stuff. So that's how I handle the cold temperatures with space heaters.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough that in our garage we purchased a space heater that plugs into 240 though. So
it's mounted up on the wall.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it
gets pretty warm.
It was as low as like -10 here last winter.
Yeah.
We had like the coldest winter ever on the earth, I think. And still, we turned that on, and like you said, go grab a cup of coffee or whatever. You come back, it's toasty warm.
Working out there in short sleeves shirts.
Now, if we're working with stinky stuff, what we'll do is we'll warm up the garage, do what we have to do that's stinky, and then crack the bottom of the garage door open a little bit, turn the fan on to blow the stinkiness out, but keep the heater going and just...
Yeah. When I used to work out of my garage before I lived here, I did a similar thing. I would open the garage door just to the height of a box fan and just have it going out. Yep. That worked pretty well. But again, there are some things, like if you're going to do a lot of polyester resin or anything that's going to be really, really stinky, a paint booth is pretty vital for that. And sometimes if you just don't have that or the space for it, then you kind of be out of luck. So...
You wait for the warmer weather.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Rob wants to know, that prop wall looks pretty sweet. Talking about what you guys have back there.
Thank you.
Let's see. Do you accept mediocrity in the name of fun, or do you not bother starting a build unless you're going to go all out on it?
Well, it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
If it's we don't do a lot of projects every year. I know there's some cosplayers that every convention they make a brand new outfit. We don't have the free time really with him working full time and her in college full time. So we picked one big project. Like this year it was the Halo.
Yeah.
So for that, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. We'll get it as detailed as possible, put as much of 100% into it as we possibly can. But like his Doctor Who cosplay, that came together like 3 days before the convention because somebody happened to mention that he looked like Christopher Eccleston. He had the jacket, which I got at Goodwill for another costume for $3. I cut his hair and bought a sonic screwdriver off of Amazon for $10. So that's a casual cosplay. So the casual ones, it's fun. We'll just throw it together. But for the big ones, we try to go as detailed as possible.
You can, but...
There you go. As detailed as the time permits. I like that answer.
And money.
and the budget.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's grab this one here. Matthew. I met Matthew at Salt Lake Comic Con. Matthew wants to know, I just made a foam Titan helmet from Destiny. I want to make another one, but I want a molding caster. What would be better to seal it with? Epsilon or something first? I've never molded something from foam.
But that's what Epsilon is for.
Yeah, Epsilon is for sealing your foam. I bet you could. I've just never done it before.
No, specifically, Epsilon is made to seal foam so you can cast it. If you look at Smooth-On's website, they actually show them making some sort of medical pillow or something.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yep.
I mean, that way, because foam is porous, and you don't want the silicone getting in those pores. So if you seal it with the Epsilon first, then you're good to go. So,
the only thing I found with the Epsilon is you really have to be careful how you put it on, and it requires a lot of sanding to get a nice, smooth finish.
Yep.
That's what we found in our brief experience with it.
What I found is to use a wide container and work in small batches, because if it's all in a small cup, it'll cure right away.
Yep.
Work in small batches. You can always mix more.
Yep.
All right.
And
good luck, Matthew.
experiment on test pieces.
Yeah. I'm gonna find this real quick.
Don't
Because
just
Matthew
get
is
it on
from
your helmet.
Ascension Props. Let's see.
Oh, Ascension Props. I
Oh,
know
yeah,
Ascension Props.
Yeah. And I want to find a picture of this Destiny helmet because I like Destiny a lot.
I'd like to see that.
Up. Up. There it is. And screen share. Boop. It looks like a big old Titan helmet. Aw, yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I'm going to want to make a Destiny helmet too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we both play Warlock, so there's a very good
I
chance
play
that...
Titan.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I
Titan.
thought you were Warlock. Were you
I
a
have
Warlock?
both.
And you...
I have
Oh,
a Titan.
she has both.
Well, there you go. She's Titan,
Oh.
she's Warlock, and I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll be making 3 helmets.
All right, another one from Kevin here. Have you ever made costumes for action videos, like stunts, falls, rolls, anything like that?
Well, not yet, but actually, a friend of Courtney's is going to be doing a video. I won't give too many of the details away because it's still in the beginning stage. And we're going to be making 6 helmets for his video, and it will be with stunts and karate and
Hopefully-
martial arts.
Hopefully
If the project goes forward.
What I'll have to say, he's worried about doing, like if you're going to do stunts and stuff, if the armor or the helmets or anything are going to hold up. What I would recommend is either build your armor to be durable for that stuff, like make it out of foam so it can flex and take a couple hits.
Yeah.
If rigid pieces have a tendency to snap, so be careful with that. For props, I would build like a up-close hero prop that's really detailed. And then for long shots or for shots where you're going to drop it, make that out of foam or rubber so that it won't break when it falls.
I would do some research into the LARPing people because they have very detailed steps in how to make a weapon that can take a lot of abuse without showing it.
That is good news right there.
Latex and all kinds of other stuff like that.
My friend Tabitha over at Artifakes. If you look at go to Artifakes, let me see this here. Screen share. Artifakes.co.uk. She does all kinds of LARP and foam weapons and stuff, and a dragon apparently because she's a badass. So go check out her stuff too. Yeah. If I'd made a dragon, that would be the only picture on my website.
Yep. Like that dragon that was at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
All right. Eric wants dipping.
I believe I know what that is. Harrison said he did that on something. I forget what it was.
I don't think so.
No, I because if it's what I think it is, where they put the layer of a graphic or something on top of this liquid and dip it. I was speaking to Harrison about that because of his Jeep. I was asking how he did his Jeep, and he was telling me how he applied that. And I mentioned that, and he said he had used it on a prop, and I forget which one it was he said, though, but he's done it on something before. Yeah,
it's really cool. You basically put an image on water, and then you dip something in there, and it sort of like gets wrapped around the thing. It's neat. I've never had the opportunity to try it before, but it is really, really cool.
I think he said the problem is, depending on the angles and things like that, it can stretch and deform the image and stuff, so.
Well, it's hard to get the image wrapped perfectly on it because you have one shot. You just go. So if you have a texture you want to apply to something or like a repeating pattern, that's awesome. But if you have like some things that need to be in certain spots, that's a little trickier.
Yeah. Orange County Chopper, I think they used that last
Oh, probably.
They've done that before, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this one's from Angela. How and when did you decide to quit your day job and go full-time prop maker? When are you guys gonna do that?
Oh, once again, I'll do like you did with Harrison. Oh yeah, okay, I'll just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Jay wants to announce something today. He's quitting his job. For me, I did it.
Medical insurance falls off of trees. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. This is what you do. Get insurance from your wife's job, like I do. I did it 2.5 years ago, I would say. Has it been that long? It seems like a long time. Yeah. I don't know. It didn't really feel like a decision at the time. It seemed like the next logical step. It seemed like a fun idea. I didn't have any outrageous debts or high living expenses or medical issues or children, so we just went for it.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, the circumstance was good for us to do it at that time, and it sounded like fun.
I think it's something you have to plan for in advance.
That I should have done
you
that.
Have a little nest egg or no.
Okay. That sounds like something I should have done, but I didn't do.
Oh wait, that was Harrison, the
No, what
grouch that had planned ahead.
Yeah, no, what I had was 6 months of commissions lined up, and I went for it.
Well, so you sort of had a plan.
Sort of.
Sure.
Unintentionally.
Probably more than some.
Awesome. All right, let's grab a couple here. Nick, here we go. Nick wants to know, with an unlimited budget of time and money, what would be your dream costume to build?
A spider tank.
Yeah.
That's me.
Courtney, I want to know, so this is what's happening to me as I play Destiny. Every day, I get like a whole new set of armor,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, now I'm building that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Same thing with the weapons. Yeah.
Yep, new gun. Oh, I'm
Ooh,
making
that's
that.
really cool. I want to make that. Oh no, look what I just got.
Yeah.
I want to make that now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. One thing I kind of want to do, because everyone, since Harrison raised the bar to vehicles, I want to make it. Yeah, I want to make a tiny Sparrow and put it on a go-kart chassis and drive that around Dragon Con.
You need 3 of them though to have your fire team.
Yeah.
Of course.
I personally haven't thought about anything, unlimited budget-wise.
I would like to make a dragon, but I think it's been done.
Oh no, but there's so many dragons to make.
That one at Dragon Con was just awesome.
Yeah. You could do a smog.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yep, that
I
was,
just
that was
bought-
my other thought was possibly doing a smog to go with his Gandalf.
Oh, that'd be.
And this whole Destiny thing came along. I've always wanted to do a costume with wings, so I thought, that would be a good opportunity.
Wendy, I have the perfect one for you.
What?
You could be the Balrog, and you could do battle.
Oh.
He'd just be yelling at me all the time, "You shall not pass! You
That
shall
would be
not
amazing. How about you, Courtney? What's your next one? What do you think you want to make next?
Well, I'm probably going to do the Titan from Destiny. Because I like to punch things.
I am a big fan of punching as well.
It's so much fun. I didn't realize I love to punch till I played the Titan. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Because this is me. I played first-person shooters on a computer, so I can't aim with my thumbs. So this is me aiming. I'm like, get over here.
That was her.
That's me.
Yeah.
Wait,
So I just run up and I just
wait.
run up and punch guys.
Yeah.
So are we going to be Titan buddies next year at Dragon Con?
Yeah, that was the thing we were doing character selection. I'm like, okay, Titan, Warlock. It's like, oh, this guy's a badass. He's got a knife. I'm going for the hunter.
See, if
Close
I'm
combat.
going to do a Warlock, I got to figure out a way to make the glowy thing for the hand.
Yes. All right, let's grab another really serious question. Me and Courtney are going to be Titan buddies next year.
Okay.
Woo!
Fist bump.
Does that
Just run
mean
up and punch people.
foam again?
More foam.
More foam.
More foam. All right. Tim wants to know
Foam smithing group
Yeah.
book, so there we go.
when you cast smooth cast 300 in a silicone. Why are there so many flies in here? What's going on? Fruit flies.
Is there
Oh,
one, hey,
we have them too.
Yeah.
Bill, is there one on your lens right in the center? Or is that
That's
flare from the
that's my
Okay.
J.J. Abrams
That's what I'm
lens flare.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so back to the smooth on 300.
Do you use mold release with 300? If you do, does that make the cast piece hard to paint? Would you use to do mold release in your
We
your
use
plasma pistol?
the 200, the spray.
Yeah.
Monster, I think it's called, whatever it is.
Ease release 200.
Yeah, ease release 200. We use that on the master when we cast it, but then pouring the 300 in, I've never bothered with the mold release.
Yeah.
I actually use Harrison's trick, although I'm sure it's not just Harrison's trick, but
Yeah.
he suggested it, baby powder in the mold, because there's a lot of areas in the gun, we cast it like this, there's a lot of areas that want to trap the air bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
So sprinkle a little baby powder in, use a big fat brush to brush it around, and that seems to suck the resin in and get rid of air bubbles.
Yep.
So that's what we've been using, and it seems to work like a charm.
I prefer the baby powder as well. I do, although with my tin molds, that can actually help pull moisture out of your tin molds, which is bad, tin cure silicone. So go back in with mold release, spray that in, let it sit for an hour, and then wipe the excess out, and that'll help the longevity of that mold. But baby powder, yay!
And it smells so nice when it comes out.
It does. Which is a
Fresh.
baby. It's a happy change of pace from my day-to-day. All right. Kevin has a question about sandpaper and grits. He says, the higher the grit number, the smoother the result. The answer is yes.
Yes.
What I like to do, again, and Harrison keeps coming up because he's the wizard. He told me that for lower grit stuff, like 80 grit, he cuts up belt sander belts.
Huh.
Yeah. So I've been doing that lately, and it's pretty awesome.
I'm kind of
Do
liking
you find a difference in the texture or anything?
It's meant to be super durable. Like it lasts a long time.
Ah.
See, what I like about the heavier grit, like 80 or below, I'm liking the sanding blocks, the sponge blocks, because they're a little bit, they're still abrasive, but they're a little forgiving because of the flexibility.
Like those sponges, yep.
There we go. All right, this one's from Vincent. I know it's early, but do you have any costume plans for Dragon Con 2015? Of course we do. I don't know about you guys, but the whole plane ride back from Dragon Con, we were all just talking about what we wanted to make next year.
We were doing that while we were at Dragon Con.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm obligated to make a vehicle. Like, that's got to happen.
Yes, you must.
And something from Destiny. Probably a Titan.
A vehicle from Destiny.
A vehicle from Destiny. There we go.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, those are probably a high percentage of those things happening. Although I have to ship a vehicle out there. I don't know
Oh,
how it's
yeah.
going to work. Or I'll just drive it. Why not?
Yeah.
A
little-
Go visit Harrison again and build it in his shop.
Yeah. Just show up one day.
Well, we have, like we said, the 3-part Destiny. Well, definitely 2-part, maybe
3-part. You're doing it. Wendy.
And we also have a secret cosplay for Jay that we actually have already bought all the stuff for, and I was hoping to get done for Dragon Con this year. But instead, I never even got it started. So all the stuff we need for it is sitting in various places around the room. So that'll probably be done for Indie PopCon, Indie Comic-Con,
Hopefully.
Wizard World, whatever our first one is, beginning of the year.
Cool.
And then the Destiny ones.
Yep. And of course, in 11 months, we'll have changed all our minds and come up with something totally different.
Now, we generally don't change our minds. She adds to it.
Yeah.
Don't look at my cosplay
only
wish list.
one thing. You can only do one thing.
But I
Okay.
have 3 choices.
But then I also want to do this and then. Well, now that you got a good start on that, can we start on this over
Yeah.
We were just going to do the Halo thing, and then she was like, "Can we buy one of Harrison's Daft Punk helmets
Yeah.
and do the Grammy version?" So we did that too, and that was a joy to work on. his helmet.
Of course.
I'm like, it came in the box. I'm like, oh, she can just wear it like this. Because it was already white.
All right, this question's from Eccentric Nico. It's for you guys about the Halo armor. I know it uses a door peephole or something. How was it during Dragon Con? Any issues walking or determining the distance from something? So is it?
I didn't wear it that much.
Yeah. So this is about how you see out of it.
I'll bring this a little bit closer. Hopefully you can still hear me here.
Yeah, I hear you.
Not only is there a door peephole, but this is a piece of tinted PETG plastic, and it's cut out there. So she's got two options of viewing this for seeing her peripheral, but she can see straight out that one as well. So I think it worked fairly okay for you,
When I did
except that
have
it was
down.
Yeah, when you had it down.
Yeah, but
I mean, it was
mostly
kind of
had
warm.
Yeah.
You know.
Since
It fogged up
since it
and
was
stuff.
so warm at Dragon Con, she spent most of the time like this, out here,
Yeah.
or holding it.
Mhm.
But she did wear it more at Gen Con,
Yeah.
and didn't seem to have any problems with it.
I like the sort of outside of the box thinking of putting the people in there, even though it may not have executed as well as you might have wanted it to.
Who stole that?
Yeah, we
stole
actually
the
got that
Somebody else
idea
had done
from
that.
Roxy Rue, who
Yeah.
is, as far as we know, the only other person who has done the Gunganir helmet, and she used the peephole.
Yeah.
We just added our own little touch to it to make the
Cool.
other little vision hole on the side there.
That's great.
With just the peephole, you're kind of going like, how far away are you? Oh, you're right here.
Okay, this one is from. Oh, nope, that's Ramon picked up both volumes of the foam making book. Thank you, Ramon.
Good Ramon.
Yeah. Oh, we have more than one Kevin. That's why there's so many Kevin questions.
Okay.
Let's see. Kevin says, have you ever considered investing in a 3D printer to print out your masters? Or for people like me, our artistic skills are low bar. Somehow our tech artistic skills are on the high bar.
I think we kind of toyed the idea, but a couple things are the costs. Now, if anybody saw recently, Dremel just announced they're coming out with a 3D printer for just under $1,000. But our Zero helmet was a 3D printed helmet, and it's the type that's like powder when you break it open. I forget. There's like two different types of printing, but I think Harrison had a point when he said, you know, I just kind of feel like you're redoing somebody else's work. You know, it's printed out and then you're having to finish and sand it. You're still having to do work to it and stuff. So, I mean, I haven't discussed with you, but I don't think we get.
I like organic building more. It's much more satisfying to me.
Yeah.
I could definitely see 3D printing being very big for this kind of thing in the
Yeah.
future, though. Absolutely. I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that. But I have absolutely no knowledge of how to do any 3D modeling. So there's that limitation as well. I could kind of figure out, you know, how to make stuff by using hands, or we can all put our heads together and come up with something. But when it comes to using a 3D model program, I am clueless.
It's just another tool. You know, it's
Yeah, it is. And one of the major problems that I think a lot of people aren't looking at or aren't realizing is that you want to make something totally custom. Unless that 3D model exists, you can't print it. Like the model doesn't just come out of the ether.
Yeah.
You need to model it yourself, or you need to have someone else model it.
yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other skill set, is being artistic enough
Yeah.
to make a 3D model, which is very, very I've seen people do it, and it's extremely impressive.
Well, as someone who went to school for 3D computer art modeling, like me, yeah, I did that for like 7 years, so I kind of, there is a little bit of a knack to it.
Yeah, just a bit.
I've made a few maps for the old game Half-Life, and yeah, they're not spectacular. A lot of straight lines and squares and stuff.
Yeah, and you'd be impressed too at how many. And by the way, everyone, I realize I just clicked on the Cosplay4UsAll video for like 45 minutes, and my face wasn't showing up. But now you all get to see my face because I figured it out. Technical issues abound today. Oh my goodness, totally
What
professional.
are you sipping on there, Bill?
He's got some stuff.
This is not soda.
So we can expect increased technical difficulties.
Yeah. No, this came out of a tiny, delicious green bottle. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, 3D modeling. Yeah. Yeah. If you want something that is both custom and stands up to the rigors of good 3D printing versus something that, because there are technical issues as to how a 3D print will come out based on how you've planned it. And what printer you're printing it on. So if you resolution isn't everything. Like high resolution what do they call it? ABS plastic extruder sort of things.
Yeah.
Still have issues where it's hard to get stuff to stick to ABS, and it's kind of hard to sand it. It's kind of hard to fill it. You get like that sort of stair-stepping effect. And as things get better, that kind of goes away. But there's still issues like planning hollow spots, planning where most of the space is going to get filled up. So we're not quite at the point where you can just print out a mold and pop out perfect copies. We might get there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, and you got your size limitations too. People don't realize 3D printers don't print big, so you have to do a bunch of little bitty pieces, glue them together. Like our Zero helmet,
I think it was 6 pieces.
it was like 6 pieces for that helmet, and the guy that did it for us, it was a $50,000 3D printer, and
Yeah.
I would not use that master as a regular helmet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of finishing work that went into it before you molded it. Yeah. There we go. Next question. This one's from 13 Cake. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. How do you deal with copyright infringement? How can I legally build a prop business such as you? Well, building the business part, there is, legal issues being forming an LLC or whatever. But as far as dealing with building stuff that other people own the copyright to, it's kind of a gray area where it's black and white. Don't build anything from Marvel.
Disney.
Or Disney, yeah.
Not do anything Disney, that's your first step.
Yeah, and all that'll happen, if you're going to sell, let's say, off the top of my head, let's say a Star-Lord helmet, Disney will find you and they'll tell you to quit it. They're not going to sue you. They'll send you a cease and desist. Basically just says stop selling them. You can make all you want, but stop selling them. But a lot of other things, like I've done stuff for Mass Effect, you guys have done Halo stuff. There's a lot of other companies that are a lot more lenient with how aggressively they want to protect their intellectual property. So a lot of us are just kind of getting by doing it that way. But know going into it that you are, in fact, stepping on people's IP, and if they want to, they can defend that.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, they'll just say quit it. And if they do, freaking quit it. Don't bring down Disney's wrath.
I'm gonna do it over here. Nobody's gonna notice.
Or you just give it away.
Yeah.
Or just give it away for free.
Like
the Marion carpet.
Yeah. I do want to make it perfectly clear, though, that a cease and desist is not getting sued. It's not legal action. It's them saying, hey, quit it out. Quit doing that, or else we will pursue legal action.
Right.
Not the end of the world. If you're selling a carpet pattern on Spoonflower, you're not getting sued when they send a cease and desist. For all the people that asked me about that at DragonCon. All right. Here's another one from Tim. Have any of you heard of the Stan Winston School online courses? Have you bought any of them?
Right.
I have heard of them. They look really cool.
Seen some demo videos, haven't we?
Looked into it when we were deciding where she was going to go to college. We looked into that as a possible alternate educational source, not to replace college, but had some very good videos. We just happened to luck out that the art school here is they've revamped their curriculum so that they actually have a class in sculpting that does working with all kinds of mediums, including casting and mold making and all that kind of good stuff. So she could just go here.
There you go, and it's probably cheaper than the Stan Winston School.
Yes, yeah. That was the other thing. That was not cheap.
No.
Although the thing you get from the Stan Winston School, it's the Stan Winston School of Character Arts. Learn monster making from the masters or FX. Of effects. You're going to get hands-on training with people who are the very top people in their field.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You will pay a premium for that, but if that's what you're going to do, then it's probably worth that premium.
Yeah, we looked into the, what was it, the Tom Savini School? The Tom
Special
Savini
Effects.
School of Special Effects in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Just outside.
Just outside of Philly. We checked into that for her as well. But it was astronomically expensive for an 18-month program. It was like
$40,000.
$40,000 or $50,000 or something.
Plus the
And you come out with
business
a
degree.
business degree.
not a special effects degree.
That's
Yeah.
a business degree. You can
Make dentures.
Make dentures.
I will say though, from my experience in college, I went to school for, and this one fruit fly, is just all up in my grill. All right. Sorry if I'm just waving at the
You
camera.
just look like you're Italian and you
Yeah.
talk with your hands.
I went to school for 3D computer art. I went to 2 state schools in New York State, and I paid very little for them, which was a massive bonus. But the degree I got out of there did very little for me. That practical training that I got is the only thing that really mattered, I found, in the end. So when you are looking at schools, a degree is fantastic, but especially if it's anything artistic, your portfolio is going to do more than anything. And if you go to Stan Winston and you're learning from people, if you go there versus taking their online courses, you're going to meet people there, people who work in the industry, and those connections that you make are also going to make that experience way more valuable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then that is exactly the sort of thing I did not get at SUNY Alfred in upstate New York.
But now you're meeting them all on your own, so there you go.
Yeah, it only took 14 years. All right, Rob wants to know if you only had one material to build out of armor, staffs, guns, everything. If you only had one material to use, what would you go with?
I'd have
EVA foam.
Yep.
Yeah.
EVA foam.
Yeah, I'm probably in that same boat.
If that was the only thing we were allowed to
If
use.
you're on a stranded on a desert
on a desert,
desert island,
you can only have one tool and one type of material: EVA foam and an X-Acto blade.
Yeah, and a sharpener.
A sharpener.
Yep.
I would probably go with the same thing. You're right, because it's tricky. A lot of the other sort of hard surface stuff that I like are all mixed media, no matter what. I'll use MDF, styrene, PVC. I'll use metal, all kinds of stuff, different adhesives. But if I could only get one, I'd do EVA foam, because I can make almost anything out of that.
Yep.
Okay, moving through these, just a little more time left. And thank you, by the way, everyone, for asking these wonderful questions, especially if your name is Kevin, because there's like 3 of you in the thing. Here's a question from Kevin. He's talking about, back to the 3D printing, that Legacy Effects likes to 3D print a lot of their stuff. So the mock-up of the Iron Man suit. They also did the same thing for the drift suits from Pacific Rim.
Didn't the Destiny hand cannon come out?
Well, they did so for the Destiny live action trailer, they did all the costumes for that too, and I imagine that they probably 3D printed most of that stuff, and again they probably 3D printed it and then, like we were saying, did a lot of finishing work and then made molds of that stuff. And for them, we probably have access to like $200,000 3D printers. It probably made a lot of sense to do it that way.
Yeah.
Like Stony Props, I know that they do a ton of 3D printing,
Yeah.
but they have access to that.
Yep. If you do, I know a lot of people too. If we're looking at going to schools right now, if I was looking at going to schools right now, I would definitely go to a school that had a really nice 3D printer. Like that would have to be a selling point for me, because schools have access to that
great,
stuff.
But do you have a 3D printer?
If they had a 3D printer at SUNY Alfred, man, I would have stayed there for like 6 years.
Well, you would have gotten your doctorate. And
Yeah. You want to graduate? Yeah, you can graduate, Bill. You've got your whole degree. No, I'm cool. Totally cool. All right. Nick wants to know, do you have any tips for diffusing LED lights so that you get an even glow and not just a circle of light? Wendy, don't you have an LED light in your super cool pistol you got there?
Oh, yes, right here.
And we have LED lights in our super.
You
cool
do.
pistol that we also diffused.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically what we did is, was it a 400 grit?
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got the LED mounted into the acrylic and used 400 grit sandpaper to sand it and scuff it so it appears more diffused. I get you a little bit closer to get you a better picture here. So it diffuses that light a lot more evenly.
That looks nice.
Same
Now,
thing
is
with
that Is that a green acrylic or green LEDs or both?
They're white LEDs with
Edge-lit
acrylic.
There you
Edge-lit
go.
neon.
Even in lights, it kind of grabs and glows to begin with. So.
Very
Well,
nice.
Same thing with the Halo suit. Also, those are little individual lights
And something else
mounted
Halo
inside
suit,
the acrylic, and
as you can see, I don't know sure if you can see from there or not, but there are some of the spots do, like there's 3 LEDs there to the left, and they kind of stand out. When you go to order LEDs, they do come in varying degrees of
direction.
angle of view. So I went pretty straightforward on those, and I was still learning about LEDs as we did this. So going back, I probably would have got some that spread the light out a little bit further as well.
So a higher angle, like 120 degrees or higher, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super
The best thing you can do is try it out, too. And you'll also find that when you photograph, whatever your LED solution is, the look that you get is a lot different than the way it looks in real in person.
That kind of so bright on photographs.
Yeah.
So bright.
All right, let's see. We've got one. Kevin wants to know. One of the Kevins. Are Kevins no longer welcome? No, Kevins are always welcome here. Next week, everyone's gonna log in. They'll be named Kevin.
Oh, Kevin's.
This one's from Aaron. Aaron wants to know, how would you recommend starting your own prop business? Is it a good business to get into, especially if I'm in love with prop making? All right. How do I want to? I don't want to be the curmudgeon and say, I want to be the guy that says, follow your dreams and your passions. And,
Well, it depends. Are you still living at home with your mom and dad?
yeah.
If you are, then follow your dreams.
Like I was saying before, a lot of it depends on your current living situation. For me, at the time, it wasn't that risky. My wife and I, neither of us have health issues. We don't have chronic health issues, so we don't have to worry too much about medical expenses. We don't have kids. We don't have, like I said, we don't have massive debt. We both went to Alfred State College, really cheap. Woo! So that's where we met, and it made sense for me. But the biggest factor for me, and I got into it when I was 28. You know, I was an old fart. There were lots of things I tried before the prop making thing. I bartended for 6 years. I taught high school for a year. Can you believe they let me teach high schoolers?
Wow.
I don't have a master's in education. I don't know why they did that, but
Were you teaching bartending?
no, not intentionally. What else did I do? I worked at Microsoft for 4 years. I did lots of other things. I wanted to be a professional photographer for a long time. I realized after shooting a couple of weddings that I did not want to be a professional photographer. Like, that was
that
a
could
much
do it.
better hobby.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you try and do it as a business, you find out that it is a much better hobby for you. The prop making thing, as soon as I gave it a go, I knew that no matter what, there was no plan B. I had to make that work because I knew right away that was exactly my passion. So if you fall into that exact same situation as me, go for it. I can't recommend it more.
And before you quit your job and started doing this, you said you had like 6 commissions lined up?
I did have a lot of commissions lined up.
And that's the thing they might want to look at too, is that, you know, are they doing enough that, you know, that you can quit your job, you know?
Yeah, I would not recommend, without trying it on a part-time basis first, I would not recommend just like going, oh, I'm just going to be a full-time prop maker, having never done commissions and stuff like that.
You can do quite a bit.
Mean, we
still have a job.
We do some commissions. We sell a lot of raw casts and stuff on Etsy and our web store and stuff like that. Would I want to do it full-time? I don't think so, because there's so much other stuff that's not fun to do. The prop making is great, the costume making is great, the going to conventions is great, but there's the bookkeeping, and if you're a legitimate business, you've got the tax consequences. And Harrison moved into his shop. He's had nothing but headaches getting stuff in there.
OSHA shows up every once in a while.
There's a whole other business aspect to it that is not fun.
Yeah, and you're the one that has to do all
with
that.
Starry eyes.
Yeah. You're the guy. You are an invoicing person. You're a shipping expert. You're wearing all of these hats that you weren't expecting to have to wear. One thing I will say, if you do give it a go and it's not working out for you, don't feel bad about going back to only doing it part-time.
No,
You can
nothing
say
wrong
you
with
tried.
Yeah.
it.
You
Nothing
don't
wrong
want to
with
let turning it into a business ruin your passion for the hobby.
Nah.
It's okay to go back to being a part-time enthusiast.
Yep.
That's about it,
If
folks.
it ever gets to the point that you are more stressed out about it and not getting any enjoyment out of it, then that's the time to go back to doing it part-time.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That's it for this week. Thank you guys, both Murphys and Jay, for showing up and hanging out and answering questions. Once again, folks, if you go to Cosplay4UsAll, let's go to since my screen share is actually working now, I'm gonna go show off Cosplay4. That's the number 4 usall.com. You guys can go check out all the really cool stuff that they're making over there and go bug them on social media and all that cool stuff. Yes, thank you again, you guys, for showing up. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and asking your amazing
Thanks to all
questions.
the Kevins.
Yep.
All
I
the
can actually
Kevins
say,
and the Nicks.
just say thank you, Kevin, and that
Right.
covers everyone.
Thank you, Kevin, for all the questions.
Yeah. Other than that, folks, that's it for this week, and we'll see you again next week with more prop and costume making goodness.
Woo-hoo. Bye.